danger. They make their way out onto the pitch here at the Estadio Alfredo Terrera. As you mentioned, Francisco, it hasn't been every home match here so far for the Ferroviario, but the beautiful new Madre de Ciudades will be in use for the upcoming U20 World Cup, and that means a return to the western neighborhood here in Santiago del Estero and a return to the familiar confines of the Alfredo Terrera.
We have Guatemala and New Zealand kicking off the Under-20 World Cup in the Madre de Ciudades. In parallel, we will have a game going on in the United States group, shared with Slovakia and Fiji. They will play after USA faces Ecuador, the two games that will open the Under-20 World Cup. And in the Madre de Ciudades, following Guatemala and New Zealand, Argentina will play Uzbekistan with a squad full of stars. Some of them arrived from abroad. Luciano Gondú, possibly the one who could find a way for Sarmiento. One of the most interesting prospects, alongside Manuel Mónaco, who is on the bench today. In a really underrated squad, as Israel Damonte said in the last press conference. He said, we have less points than what we deserve. A confident coach, expecting to take at least a draw from here.
Well, it's a big opportunity for his side to go out and prove it here tonight. The Fuerza Pulga sign, of course.
Yeah.
The news of the traffic accident involving Pulga Rodriguez. He's still back at home in Tucumán recovering. And, of course, we wish all the best for such a talented star in Argentina and one who is beloved by many, many clubs up and down the country.
Yeah, not anymore in his brighter days. He's no longer the Pulga Rodriguez he was in Colón, for example, or in Gimnasia, but, well, first having a look at the referees, Jorge Baliño, Gabriel Chade, and Iván Núñez, the referee and first and second assistant, respectively. Luis Lobo Medina is the fourth official. Nazareno Araza and Fabrizio Llobet are in the VAR cabin. We have to say, Carter, that thankfully Pulga Rodriguez is much better now, but the first 2 days it was a life-threatening condition, indeed, with some heavy injuries in his chest and in his head. Thankfully, his improvement was there. I'm pretty sure that being a professional footballer and a professional athlete, despite he's not in his best physical condition, did help his recovery. So we wish all the best to the Pulga Rodriguez. As you said, you couldn't say it better, Carter. Respected by many, many clubs, loved by many fans for his, I wouldn't say an amateur spirit, but he simply enjoys playing football, as very few players do. Scored many beautiful goals. As we have Leonardo Madelon on screen, the coach of Central Córdoba. We have two coaches that left their positions in the last hours, Carter, as Javier Sanguinetti left the bench in Banfield and Diego Dabove was removed from Huracan's coaching, with the name of Sebastián Bataglia already appointed as the biggest candidate to replace him.
The coaching carousel already spinning fast in Argentina. That's change number 9 and 10 in the LPF already in 2023. Here as we wrap up match day 15. Might the seats start to grow warm for these two managers, Leonardo Madelon and Israel Damonte. As progress past the halfway point of this campaign. And the 3 relegation spots certainly within reach for both of these sides, which makes tonight's match all that more important. Referee Jorge Baliño getting us ready to go at the Estadio Alfredo Terrera. Away we go. Match day 15, an exciting match day in the Liga Profesional SdE-pe comes to a close tonight in Santiago del Estero as Central Córdoba play host to Sarmiento. Even at this midway point in the campaign, it feels like a 6-point battle here tonight when it comes to relegation. Alongside Francisco Aure, I am Carter Augustine. Pleasure to have you alongside us. And Francisco, as we talked about just before the match, both of these teams have seen all the results over the course of the weekend. And for the teams fighting down in the relegation scrap, they saw a lot of results go their way. And that could mean tonight 3 points go even farther for both the Ferroviario and the Verde. Should be an exciting one to wrap up this weekend.
Yeah, indeed, Carter. It should be a good game. Both teams have loads of arguments to simply go up in attack and play, trying to do the best they can. We'll see if Sarmiento can impose their style, their pragmatic style, but effective, as they have been in the mid-table in the last 2 years, despite a very bad 2021 campaign, are dragging them backwards in the relegation battle. If they survive this season, they will have loads of air for the upcoming year, and they won't suffer as much as they did in the last 2 years with relegation.
When you look at the promedios, the accumulated average over 3 seasons, as Francisco just alluded to, most of the teams in and around these two at the bottom dropped points over the weekend. Platense, Instituto, Banfield, Atlético Tucumán, all losers over the weekend. Unión held to a draw. Deep service curled in towards Javier Toledo. He got a head to it. The big man unable to put his header on frame. Early chance for Sarmiento. Such a strong presence up top. Javier Toledo using his strength well there to get on the end of the cross. Sarmiento, they currently, Francisco, sit just above those bottom two in the Promedio, which are Arsenal and Platense. They're 1 point above Platense coming into this match number 94 over the course of the 3 years. A chance to just push that 1 point advantage up to 4.
Sarmiento with on paper dropping the 5-3-2 system to replace it for a 4-3-3, but Emiliano Méndez joining the defensive line.
Chance now for the Ferroviario. Gonzalo Torres was trying to work his way for a shot. Green shirts closing together in unison and denying the opportunity. We'll take a look back at the first chance of the match for the home side.
Just a few seconds ago, Talleres sealed the win 4-2 against Racing. Serious defeat for Racing against a team that still stays at the top, on the top side of the table. Despite the draw today by San Lorenzo against Defensa y Justicia, playing in their own ground, has now allowed River Plate to move 8 points clear following their win yesterday in the Super Clásico that we shared on AFA Play live from the stadium alongside all our crew.
It has been such a superb weekend in the league. And what a thriller that wrapped up just moments ago between Racing and Talleres. Those two teams switching fortunes from last year to this year when it comes to league play. So, as we were saying, Francisco, Sarmiento just above, just a point outside the relegation spot. Central Córdoba aren't too far ahead of them themselves. Just 6 points above the fray and trying to perhaps push a little distance between them and Sarmiento here tonight. The home side not at all secure of their safety heading into next year.
No, indeed, but a win.
Goalkeeper.
Sorry, Carter, by a win for Central Córdoba would move them on top of Atlético Tucumán and on top of Unión, winning 2 spots and they could contest against Barracas Central. Therefore, a win would mean a lot more than 3 points. It's a very common phrase. As former Central Córdoba Gonzalo Bettini clears. Oh no, it wasn't him, sorry. Gonzalo Bettini, the right back, played in Central Córdoba 1 or 2 seasons ago. We have a few former players of them.
Miscommunication in the attack, grown from the home fans as it leads to a Sarmiento goal kick. As Francisco mentioned, they've switched approaches from their last time out, a 1-1 draw at home against Godoy Cruz. Change from 3 at the back to a back 4. And 4 changes in the starting 11 as in come Gonzalo Bettini, Junin Zarralde, Manuel Garcia returning from suspension, and Lisandro Lopez coming into the attack for just his 6th start of the campaign.
From the complete squad today by Sarmiento, including their starters on the bench, Gonzalo Bettini, Francos Butoni, Lucas Melano, and Juan Cruz Caprof. All of them, all 4, played in Central Córdoba in the past. Lucas Melano scored a brace in his debut, actually.
Might the law of the X come back to haunt the Ferroviario? Bettini, the only one getting the starts. And in the attack, Sarmiento. That's a good-looking cross in! Oh, and what a chance! Toledo got ahead to it. It took a deflection on its way. It'll be a corner after this sumptuous service in from the near side.
Great cross to the far post. Javier Toledo in one of his biggest attributes, heading, but he found some resistance.
Manuel Garcia, the man who whipped that ball in towards Toledo. His header careening off a Central Córdoba defender. Ensuing corner was met by Mendez, not cleared by Central Córdoba. Hopefully back into the area. But the knockdown easily repelled this time by the home side. Lopez tracking back. And the ball forward from Fernando Martinez. Much too straight, much too long. Meanwhile, Central Córdoba picked up a good win last time out against one of those relegation strugglers, the newly promoted side Instituto, 2-0 in Cordoba. Just one change as Brian Farioli, one of their main creators, is out injured. Jesus Zoraire comes into the starting 11 for Leonardo Madelon here tonight.
Here is the law of the ex Bettini.
Finding Luciano Gondou.
4 changes we have today, placed by Israel Damonte. Bettini came back from an injury. Insaurralde and Garcia came back from suspensions. As we see, the closing down by Gonzalo Goñi. And Lisandro Lopez, for tactical reasons, replacing the Uruguayan center back Juan Emanuel Hernandez. Central Córdoba keeps the same start lineup from the previous game, the 1-0 defeat against Estudiantes.
Second corner of the night for Sarmiento. In towards the near post, well defended. Another opportunity perhaps. Bettini looking for the 1-2, and it's perfectly placed in behind. Bettini once again, third opportunity. It's rifled through and smashed over. Toledo, a trio of chances already in the match. That was his best, and that is a missed opportunity for the Verde.
What a clear chance. Very active Bettini, and a great combination between the both fullbacks. I think Bettini was onside despite the call by the keeper Ledesma, and that cross was so poisonous, nobody could cut it out. It was all up to Toledo, who doesn't waste these chances usually, but he did now. Lucky escape by Central Córdoba as we reach 10 minutes. Everybody, as you can read on screen, please, you are invited to follow us on AFA Play in every platform in the social media, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. Loads of content on the Argentinian LPF, and as you can see, as you have seen yesterday, the broadcast of the Super Clásico. Let me correct something I said, Estudiantes. It was Instituto, a 2-0 win for Central Córdoba in the last game, as Sarmiento comes from a 1-1 draw against Godoy Cruz in Junin.
Yeah, both teams picking up points last time out, and for Central Córdoba, it's stopped a back-to-back losing streak, including dropping their last home match against Godoy Cruz. And again, just that one change in the lineup. Farioli out injured. Jesus Zoraire in. And I might miss Farioli here today, Francisco. He is one of the main creators in the attack for the Ferroviario. Emiliano Mendez, too aggressive and called for the foul inside the penalty area. Free kick to Central Córdoba.
Farioli with an injury, and the other unavailable player, is, as we mentioned, Pulga Rodriguez. As Sarmiento has recovered many players for this game.
Well, goals are something that Central Córdoba have struggled with. Only 10 scored. That's the third fewest in the league. Lucas Gamba on the score sheet last time out. Referee plays an advantage, and the shot from Julian Navas not at all close to testing the goal of Sebastian Mesa. Maciel was brought down in the build-up. He's fine enough to share a laugh with the referee. Did play an advantage there, did the center ref, Jorge Balino. Space to attack down the center of the park. Maciel running onto it. Maciel! Oh, he flashes it wide. He had Mesa sprawling to his left-hand post.
It's a really nice game at the beginning, as we already had chances in both ends. Maciel with loads of empty space to run ahead. In a late drop back by Sarmiento.
It's been tested so far this year, Sebastian Mesa. 56 saves coming into the weekend. That's second most in the league. Only Arsenal's Alejandro Medina has been forced into more action so far this year.
Carter, as we said earlier, Talleres beats Racing 4-2 in Avellaneda. And the news here is that we have a different name at the top of the goal scorers table of the league. I'm talking about Michael Santos, who scored a hat-trick in the previous game against Rosario Central, scored a brace today, and he jumped from 5 to 10 goals in the list in just 2 rounds, and no goals from a penalty kick.
Leaping over Matteo Rettegui into top spot. Sarmiento have numbers to aim at. Cross just over the heads of everybody. They're asking for a touch, not going to be given. That was a good attacking move from the visitors. 40 years young, Lisandro Lopez, and he got himself into a good position, pulled out wide. Deft first touch off the thigh to set up the delivery.
An Argentinian sports and culture emblem that is well known in the United States is Manu Ginóbili. He made a sort of a trademark of his nickname, the 40-year-old kid.
Certainly, Lisandro Lopez still feels he has more to give. Of course, his stated goal, coming back to the club closest to his hometown, saying he wants to keep Sarmiento up. They managed to do it last year, but the job not completely done for Licha Lopez. Gondo will chase down Ledesma. Good switch of play from the home goalkeeper. Looking up towards Gamba. He's beaten in the air. We'll try it once more. Gonna be a tough matchup for Lucas Gamba, trying to win aerial battles against Junin Sarraude. Hooks forward, Gondo gives chase. And Ledesma gathers for the Ferroviario. He's up there on the goal-saving charge this year as well, Ledesma. Sprints off his line to keep that in play. 48 saves, just 8 behind the home goalkeeper coming into tonight.
Good coverage by Gonzalo Goñi as Gondú was in the opposite way as the player that was offside. I think it was Toledo that was coming back from the offside position. It's a game that has both teams with an offensive proneness. On paper, Central Córdoba was going to stand a back five, and it's not looking like that in these early stages of the game.
Quarter of an hour gone, still scoreless at the Alfredo Terrera. Mauro Piton looking for Marcelo Benitez. Stolen away by Bettini. Now Gondo leaves Maciel behind, but is forced backward. Big switch towards Lopez. Got to head to it. Didn't do anything with it. Full moon over the weekend. Just starting to wane, but maybe still some crazies out tonight here in Santiago del Estero.
Nice color.
Beautiful, cool evening for a game. Zoraide. Torres tried to help it on first time, didn't come off, and he apologizes to Gamba. Both of these teams have conceded just 15 goals coming into their 15th match. That's right around the top 10 in the league. So they've been pretty solid defensively thus far, Francisco. There's a lunging challenge.
Whoa.
And Mendez is down hurt.
To be honest, Carter, at first sight, this could be... This should be at least a review for a red card by Jesus Zoraide. Late challenge, never going for the ball. Emiliano Mendez is lucky to be still with his right leg in one piece. That was
those two were teammates.
So dangerous. That was so dangerous.
I didn't even see a yellow card flash by the referee Jorge Balino. Correct me if I'm wrong, Francisco. I didn't see a card shown on the pitch. Israel Demonte is wanting to make sure that they are taking a look. Of course they will be. VAR led by Nazareno Arasa this evening. They'll be having a look. It's just a question on whether they're going to get in the ear of Jorge Balino and tell him to go have a second gander at the monitor. And Jesus Zoraide may be in trouble here. It gets worse every time you look at it, Francisco.
I fully stand. It's incredible that there isn't even a yellow card. Okay, you don't want to have a red card because we are on 20 minutes. Okay. Not even a yellow card? Can't believe my eyes.
Those two, as I was saying, teammates at Arsenal, part of a decent Sudamericana run a couple of years ago with the Viaduct men. Zoraide leaving one in on his former teammate. Surely the Sarmiento staff have someone with eyes on a replay. They're in the ear of the fourth official. Mendes bewildered as he makes his way off the pitch. And no review either from the VAR. Free kick out of play. Sarmiento down a man until Mendes can come back on because not even a yellow card shown to Jesus Zoraide. It's a bit unbelievable.
A bit? Yeah, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that there wasn't even a yellow card.
Well, the free kick came to nothing. Mendes is back out on the pitch and challenging for the header. Good to see he's okay to go. Of course, you can't review to give a yellow card, but really difficult to understand how Jorge Balino hasn't reached for his pocket after that coming together. Pass from Garcia just behind Mendes as he was turning. Picked up now by Piton. Calm as you like from Piton over to the far side. Now fizzed. They're looking for a handball. Not given on the first view. And the effort dragged wide by Benitez. Now vociferous appeals from the Central Córdoba players.
Well, I think it was the arm stick to the body. That's what I think I saw at first. Of course, replay is always welcome. Yeah, Fernando Martinez had his arms on his back. I think that's what might excuse him. Yeah, he's trying to move the arm away from the ball's way. But, okay, now they are reviewing. I might sound as a Sarmiento fan, but I'm not. I'm not even native from Junin, and but I can't believe. I mean, it's correct that they at least have a look and see better what Fernando Martinez did with his right arm, but not having a review for the previous one over from Zoraide over Mendes is absolutely unbelievable.
So no handball. VAR holding things up for just a split second and saying there was no clear and obvious error on that occasion. And when you look back at the non-handball there, Francisco, it fell to a good position on the pitch for Marcelo Benitez. That was a decent opportunity for the left wing back to have a strike, and he just didn't catch it. He is hooking it over his shoulder to clear. Big switch of play. 1-2. Martinez returns for Gabriel Diaz. His long-range effort into a crowd of bodies. Tussle for possession, eventually settled. Piton once again cool in possession for the Ferroviario. Some slick passing down the right-hand side for the hosts, but Mendez stepped in, got just a touch, couldn't get enough to take it away. Benitez shaping across. Half-hearted appeals for handball. It'll be a corner. First corner of the night for the home side.
Pereira and Goni in defensive box.
Two big bodies up from the back. And number 2, the captain Pereira, always a threat. Benitez, low service, not well dealt with. Picked up by Maciel. Maciel! Second long-range attempt, and he started to find the range, Maciel.
Good effort. Maciel scored a few weeks ago from a similar position in a volley. But this time he went out. Sometimes it is said that playing in their home soil like now, Central Córdoba playing in the Alfredo Terrera, could be even an advantage against big teams, because it's not the same kind of grass, it's not the same quality of grass, truth to be said. It's a reduced space, it's a different environment, and it can be a bit more familiar for the home side for Central Córdoba. So sometimes they said Pedro playing in the Madre de Ciudades was not so convenient. But for example, Boca Juniors once won 4-0 here in 2020, right before the pandemic break. A night in which nowadays Godoy Cruz keeper Diego Rodriguez saved not one but 2 penalties to Carlos Tevez.
Free kick taken short. Bettini. Good cross in. Flash header wide. Ronaldo Martinez charging into the area, but couldn't get his header on frame.
Good cross by Bettini. And Martinez breaking the line. Once again, Sarmiento building up on the right side, much more than in the left.
It's about half an hour gone. 5 shots for each team. Still looking for that first shot on target of the night. Manuel Garcia dropping well deep to get involved. So to Fernando Martinez. Intercepted by Brian Blasi. and he was fouled. Lopez getting demonstrative out on the pitch. Pereira lumps it forward. Ball won by Diaz. Went out for a Central Córdoba throw. Piton making the run. He's found well. Gamba, second opportunity. This one's low towards Zoraide. Alejandro Donati was in the way. And he's called into action once again. Donati, it pops to the edge of the area. And a swinger from Benitez. Not at all troubling. Well, it was sitting up for him to hit. One of those volleys you dream about and you try all the time in training. Well, a special guest in the stands tonight.
Stitch himself has arrived to the Alfredo Terrera Stadium. What a great guest. Central Córdoba has prepared a VIP zone with good catering, some drinks, good food for the lovely Stitch.
He could use his creativity out on the pitch as they've struggled for goals this year. Mendes, that's a clever touch inside Maciel. Plenty forward for Sarmiento, and the shot is taken on, and just look at all the disappointed strikers looking back at Gabriel Diaz. Four dark green shirts inside the area. And the left back elected to take it on himself. Had a touch inside, didn't go the way as planned for Piton. It was an aware Toledo who picks it up for Sarmiento. He's awaiting the service. Never arrived in the way was Pereira. Now Mendes. Plenty of space on the far side for Diaz. No, it's Lopez. Whips it in. And he put it right into the space of Toledo. Lopez getting in good positions, wide left. Not a bad effort from Toledo. His opportunities starting to pile up here in the first half, but most of them have been from crosses such as that.
Certainly not a bad first half, despite we had no goals, Carter. I think it's something that can be, I wouldn't say convincing, but still acceptable.
The team's really sitting back at the moment, but neither team has been able to provide that cutting edge, that creativity in the final third. Could have come from a mistake. Momentary lapse of judgment there at the back from Pereira, and he's bailed out. Gondo took it away for just a split second. It's back again with the Ferroviario, the railroad. Move into the attacking half. Piton switching it to the far side. Maciel into the corner. Maciel digs out a good cross. Zoraide was attacking. Bettini gets there first to head it clear for Sarmiento. Another example of what you were just talking about, Francisco. There's been some good positions occupied here in the first half from both sides.
Yes, in the end, it's been a game that hasn't let us down in terms of goal chances, but sometimes it was something off. Now Gondou, just like the previous one.
Gondou slamming into this challenge. And that will be very painful indeed for Gonzalo Torres. And again, no further need for punishment. So on a different night, we might have seen a couple of cards shown to Jesus Sarraide and Luciano Gondou. As it stands, no cards given. And it's popped kindly for Sarraide, who nearly picked out the bottom corner. Sebastian Mesa fights it off and out of play for a corner.
Mesa a bit disappointed for not holding on to the ball.
Well, it was a quick turnover and the shot was taken quickly. Might have just caught the goalkeeper a little off guard. From the corner, nothing much doing. It is kept in. Benitez going outside of the boot, and he left it short. That's just going to allow for Sarmiento to recover. Gondou is wrestled away by Pereira. Space for Benitez. Piton. Heavy pass. And possession squandered, that time by Maciel. Right when it looked as though Central Córdoba had broken through Sarmiento. Idea was there from Bettini, faked inside, tried to find it down the line for Garcia. Garcia for the visitors to approach the final 5 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half in Santiago del Estero. 0-0 between Central Córdoba and Sarmiento. Martinez gathers. Mendez for Diaz. Lofted in towards Toledo. Pereira up into the sky. And his goalkeeper, well aware, Ledesma comes to claim.
Ledesma quite safe today. He hasn't had too much of activity, but some concrete chances and not much else.
And that save from Mesa a moment ago. The first save either goalkeeper has been forced to make.
The 3 number 9 system gives Sarmiento some chances for long balls, skipping the midfield line. And then they keep Emiliano Mendez very, very at the back, almost a third center back, putting the pressure on whoever comes around, this time Sarraide.
Acres of space for Sarraide on the near side. Shapes up a left-footed cross. Deep service. Diaz underneath. Lopez holding things for the Sarmiento defense to try and catch their breath. Central Córdoba hoping to ramp up the pressure before the break. Sarraide snuck it through just over Lopez. Maciel is not shy of shooting from distance. That one wasn't quite as close as his first two. Just caught it with his big toe. Maciel as he drags it wide left. Gondo, that's good hold-up play. Toledo, shot charged down by Piton. Lopez beaten to it by Blasi. Impressive and important sliding block challenge made by Mauro Piton. Garcia. He's been dropped deep into the high night sky. It's knocked down by Toledo. Mendez through traffic, hoping for a touch, and one that never came.
For Emiliano Mendez, an all-arounder, but the shot wasn't so dangerous.
We're approaching 20 shots combined between the two teams on the evening, but most of them have been speculative in nature. Martinez is hoping for it to develop, but no, that's a uncalculated, miscalculated giveaway. Gamba stealing in for Central Córdoba. Switched over to Benitez. Loose first touch. And his cross met by the head of Diaz. Maciel, once again. That was Piton, excuse me. Goalkeeper could have chested down the tame effort. Garcia on the bounce, dealt with by Piton. Garcia working hard to get it away from Zoraide. Very interesting positions being picked up by Manuel Garcia in this first half. Here he is on the ball once more. Up towards Toledo. Fair contact, says the referee. Toledo! Off the post. Gondo smuggles it through. Fancy footwork from the young star for Sarmiento. And after Toledo came close, it's Luciano Gondo who gives the Verde the lead just before halftime. What a massive goal that could be for Sarmiento. It's Central Córdoba 0, Sarmiento 1.
What an awkward clearance by Fabio Pereira. Toledo did a massive finishing, and look how cool-minded he was when he caught the rebound from his own shots. First of all, well, it starts with Pereira, really held off by Toledo, and then he has the cool mind to find Gondu. Gondu did in desperate, and in a sea of rivals' legs and arms, he scored the opener. Luciano Gondu back in the scoreline. He needed to score. He's recovering his form in the last games, recovering his form lately. He scored against Godoy Cruz, and now he scores again against Central Córdoba. Crucial moment to score the opener for Sarmiento, who now wants to pull away from the relegation zone for one at all.
Well, after a sizzling start to the year, he hadn't scored in 2 months before he scored last time out against Godoy Cruz. Back-to-back games with a goal. Luciano Gondo, the top scorer of the campaign for the Verde with his 6th of the season. And he's put the visitors on top just before the break. And a massive mention deserved for Toledo on the assist. There's a dipping, rasping effort. Mesa had moved to his left. He had to quickly shift back to his right to deny that strike from Benitez. Being told an additional 3 minutes will be added on at the end of the first half. What a time to open the scoring for the visitors. Francisco Luciano Gondo with his 6th of the year.
Yeah, indeed, very good movements in the box. Luciano Gondo is a very skilled striker. He was possibly the biggest star of that unforgettable Sarmiento side that won the reserves tournaments in 2021, beating Boca Juniors, with many players that are now part of the starting lineup of Jorge Almirón, like Vázquez, like Ceballos, like Medina. Excellent display.
Still just 21 years old. And he awaits the service now, which is in from Diaz. Was shaped towards the number 9. Too close to the goalkeeper. Martinez clattering through Zoraide for the foul. Smart touch from Bettini off Gamba. And Israel De Monte happy to have Sarmiento just slow things down. Second ball falls to Toledo. And the first half comes to a close here at the Estadio Alfredo Terrera. The visitors, Sarmiento, striking first just before the break. Luciano Gondo, after wonderful work from Javier Toledo, his 6th of the season. And it gives the Verde the lead at halftime. Francisco Aure, it's advantage Sarmiento as we head into the break.
Yeah, a strike in the last minutes in a crucial moment as Lisandro Lopez was giving some instructions to Gonzalo Bettini. A very intense first half played as it has to be played by two teams that are trying to pull away from relegation zone. In the end, the result is on Sarmiento's side, ladies and gentlemen. Alongside Carlos Agustina and Francisco Aure, we'll go to a break and we'll be right back in a few minutes. not.
I think Zoraire extremely fortunate not to receive at least a yellow. Likewise, Luciano Gondol with a similar challenge. And yet, no yellow cards doled out by the referee. Other than that, it was pretty clean. 3 fouls for the home side, 4 against the visitors. Possession just in favor of Central Córdoba, with corners 2 apiece at the break. The home side are the first out onto the pitch. Now we start to see the visitors in green from Junin making their way out here at the Alfredo Terrera with that 1-goal advantage provided by Luciano Gondol.
We have 2 changes in Central Córdoba. Julián Navas and Jesus Zoraire have left the field. Federico Jordan jumps into the midfield. And Julián Navas, I guess it was quite predictable, since a change of system was needed. Now Blasi, Pereira, Goñi and Benítez will remain as the 4 defenders. Lucas Besosi, who narrowly missed the final cuts in the under-20 squad of Argentina for the World Cup, has replaced Navas. And there is Federico Jordan replacing Zoraire.
So a change in approach from the home side, and perhaps they need one, down 1-0 as we're about ready to start the second half in Santiago del Estero. Central Córdoba get the ball rolling as they've switched sides, and the home team trail by that Luciano Gondol late first half goal. A veteran midfielder on and a talented young attacker on for the Ferroviario as we begin the second half, wrapping up match day 15. Alongside Francisco Aure, I'm Carter Augustine, and well, you were thinking we might see a change at halftime, Francisco, and indeed, Leonardo Maradon going to the bench to bring on 2 new pairs of legs for the home side.
Yes, indeed, it's needed. It's needed as they had to recover, and keeping 5 defenders when you need to turn around a score, it's absolutely needless.
One of those substitutes getting involved immediately, Federico Jordan. Tiptoeing on the right-hand side, he wins a throw off Fernando Martinez. Hooked forward by Maciel. Setting up kindly, and that's a clever reverse pass! And it's smashed wide. Marcelo Benítez, well, he's had a lion's share of the chances for Central Córdoba.
Good header by Torres. Well opened for Benítez, who has a very powerful shooting. Lucas Besosi already checking in and showing credentials.
Here's the man that's just waited long enough to slip that pass into the path of Benítez. And you saw several players gathered at the 6, expecting a little bit better from Benítez when he got in that position. Sosi came off the bench last time out and got a late goal to help preserve that eventual 2-0 victory over Instituto. Loose ball picked up by Piton. He keeps it with a slide ahead of Bettini. Besosi left it short. Bettini slides it out. Jordan tried to go through the wickets on Diaz, who closed his legs just in time. And now a break is on for Sarmiento. Toledo pulling himself wide. Chops it over the defender. Did Pereira get a touch? He did, and the first yellow card of the match will go to the captain. And I believe that's his 5th of the season, which means he'll be suspended for Central Córdoba's next game.
Yes, sir, that's correct. He will miss the next game. Late challenge over Javier Toledo.
It is another game with relegation implications as they're on the road at Barracas Central next time out.
Yeah, and Central Córdoba and Sarmiento also playing a crucial game for relegation as they will be visiting Unión in Santa Fe.
They have a free kick here with the lead. Diaz after the step over from Bettini. Oh, it's perfect service! And it's fought up over the bar. A self-defensive save from Ledesma to Danai Lopez.
This is the cross by Gabriel Diaz, and in the far side, Lisandro Lopez winning the back of Jordan. Ledesma saved it because only because he was at the right in there.
He had his positioning on, didn't know much about it as it was headed down into the ground with power. And just took a wicked deflection off the goalkeeper's midsection. Jordan looking extremely relieved to see that up and over the bar after he lost his mark. Corner outswinging. Insaurralde got ahead to it. Now Lopez locking arm in arm. Should be a foul, and it is. After keeping his yellow cards in his pocket for the first half, it's the second in quick succession. This the first to the visitors and their 40-year-old captain.
Both captains booked in just a matter of minutes.
If you're just joining us, this is the last match of the rounds. Match day 15 coming to a close this evening. Lucas Gamba giving chase. Insaurralde gets there just ahead of him, but it's out for a Central Córdoba corner. Besosi, the halftime substitute, comes over to the near side. Stand over this set piece, out swinging, met by the head of Mendez. Oh, it was Toledo, excuse me, who cleared for Sarmiento. Besosi. Maciel. Touched away by Diaz. Quickly in for Balassi. His cross repelled by Mendez. Finally, Sarmiento able to clear their lines. Toledo doing what he does best. Battering ram up top for the Verde. Pereira that time matches up well. Of course, it was Toledo who shrugged off Pereira to lead to the goal right at the end of the first half. Martinez allowed to turn. Searching ball in the direction of Toledo, who had not come back into an onside position. It's about as easy as a decision will come for the far side assistant. Crowd not too happy with that attempt. Much too close. And an easy gather for Mesa as Piton is trying to turn playmaker. It's the captain who's down. 40 years old, he's not going to be lasting 90 minutes all too often from here on out. And he nearly doubled the lead. What a chance for Lopez. Does have 3 goals on the year, and was that close to finding his 4th. Well, you see what it means to him, Francisco, as he's being carted off. Lisandro Lopez still barking out instructions.
Yeah, but he should wait until he's replaced and substituted by Lucas Milano. Otherwise, he could be given the 2nd yellow card, and the substitution would not be possible. In every school, if you study to be a journalist or if you study to be a referee or whatever, you will learn the rules. The substitution is not completed until the replacement comes into the field, and the replacement cannot enter the field prior to the leaving player is actually out of the rectangle. So if Jorge Baliño had heard Lisandro Lopez, he could have given him the 2nd yellow card when he was on the way out in the cards, and he would be sent off, and the change would have to be done by somebody else, not for him.
Fortunately for Sarmiento, no 2nd yellow card was shown, and Lucas Milano checks into the match, as Francisco already mentioned, one of those former Central Córdoba players in the ranks for Sarmiento. He has scored a couple of beautiful goals this season, Milano. Toledo finding Diaz. Milano's first touch keeps the move alive for Sarmiento. Only for split seconds, Diaz goes to ground. And it's back again with El Ferroviario. A pass read all the way by Martinez. And he helps to win a throw. High up the pitch for the visitors. Well, not so amicable. The meeting between captain and manager on the sideline. Chased down by Central Córdoba. Besosi. His work rate could have paid off for the home side. Maciel once again elects to go from range. It's popped to Jordan. His cross headed away by Bettini. Piton does well to find Jordan once again. Blasi forward. Blasi sizes up the delivery. It was Torres charging in. Some sustained pressure here from the Ferroviario. Besosi getting to the end line. And his cross blocked by Bettini at the source. Sustained pressure, but determined defending from Sarmiento. And they win it back. And now can they move out on the break? Into the feet of Milano. Slowly developing move. Central Córdoba back in position. Mendez. Slow shot, easily gathered off the ricochet. That's the type of defending spirit that Israel de Monte's side are going to need for the rest of the match if they want to hold on to this away result. They only have one road win this season. Came back on match day 3, a 2-0 victory at Cologne. They have picked up 3 draws to go with 3 losses away from Junin. It's not a terrible haul of points from their travels, but they would love to add another 3 here tonight. Still a long way to go. Donati did not get his clearance the way he had hoped. Besosi loses his marker. Besosi through the 6 and just beyond the outstretched boot of Gamba. Tracked down by Jordan. Well, Lucas Besosi has already looked the most dangerous Central Córdoba man of the match, and he only came on at halftime. Direct play from the talented youngster and nearly picking out Lucas Gamba.
It was such a close, possibly the closest chance Central Córdoba had in the whole game as the ball crossed the whole box. Gamba didn't get on time. But increasing numbers in attack certainly did good for Central Córdoba, as they are now more frequently going around Sebastián Mesa. Sarmiento was even looking, I wouldn't say comfortable, but they were looking quite secure, as they had little players, a little number of players from Central Córdoba to defend from. It's not the case in the second half.
Mostly shots from range in the first half for Central Córdoba. Home fans might be wondering why Lucas Besosi wasn't on the pitch from the beginning of the game. Milano goes down under the challenge of Blasi, and he earns a free kick for the Verde.
Showtime, Manuel
staff.
Monaco. Showtime, Carter. Manuel Monaco ready to check in, and Franco Quinteros also.
First, Gondu gets on the end of it and nearly flicked it into the path of Toledo. Milana was lurking in and around as well. Mendes thought he had controlled it well for his team. Instead, his back pass intercepted. Gamba now charging forward. Drops for Besosi. Besosi sizing up Mendes. Now it's whipped in behind. Well timed for Maciel. The reaction of the crowd says it all.
Yeah, Maciel. Great run. Gabriel Diaz marking was really weak, the coverage. And Maciel, well, wasted. Player for player, position for position. Franco Quinteros, a left back replacing the other left back, Uruguay's Gabriel Diaz. Carter, I said earlier 3 coaches had left their positions, right?
Right.
What if I tell you that we might have a 4th one leaving his position tonight?
My goodness, it's the red wedding in the LPF this weekend.
Yeah, the opposite of the red, the light and blue. The light blue and white, sorry. As we are being informed that 1 hour after the end of the game, there is going on a meeting that lasted, actually, I correct myself, a meeting that has been going on for the last hour and something in the dressing room between Racing Club's coaches and players and some members of the board. It's uncertain what will happen with Fernando Gago. As meanwhile, going through the changes, apart from Quinteros replacing Diaz, Manuel Mónaco, I stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for some showtime. Will replace Javier Toledo, who is already out of the field.
So the target man withdrawn, should move Gondo through the center. And they bring on Gondo's talented young teammate that he partnered with in the reserve title, Mónaco, into the attack. There are the two departed, Diaz and Toledo. Toledo, of course, playing a key role in the goal. Milano inside for Mendez. Martinez gets it away just before Benitez closed in. And there's the first touch for the new man on the pitch, Mónaco. Gondo back from Mónaco. Went from range. And the way was Maciel. Mónaco spotted the run of Gondo. Would have been difficult as the light show comes on alive inside the Alfredo Terrera. They need someone to illuminate the pitch like they're illuminating the stands at the moment. Piton swivels into the attack. Cross towards the back stick. Not the most convincing of clearances from Quinteros. Just enough on it. And now it's helped into the path of Milano by Gondo, who continues his run in behind. And he'll get there first. The goal scorer, Luciano Gondo. And Milano just took a bit too long. Pereira able to block. This was a decent cross in from the far side. Quinteros. His cross cut out by Pereira.
Oh, fireworks. And it's not for celebrations.
Well, they're excited to return here to the Alfredo Terrera after being at their home away from home.
Yeah, but they're not the most positive comeback to the home soil.
Certainly not at the moment. Still time enough for the Ferroviario to change the destiny of the match. That time starting to dwindle away from Central Córdoba. Benitez tried to squeeze it through three defenders. He'll get back onto it. Benitez lines one up. And it was well struck. Mesa all over it for Sarmiento.
All games of Group A with Argentina, Uzbekistan, Guatemala, and New Zealand, except for the last game between New Zealand and Argentina, will be played at the Madre de Ciudades Stadium. Also, we will have 2 games for the round of 16, 2 games in quarterfinals at the Madre de Ciudades in the upcoming Under-20 World Cup in Argentina. As today was the deadline to announce the squads
course, that tournament is why they've moved back here to the Alfredo Terrera. Less than half the size of the Madre de Ciudades. They're packed in tonight in Santiago del Estero, and the fans now trying to liven things up as it's whipped in, and Gamba with an unmarked header, and he flashes it over the bar. Lucas Besosi has been a difference maker here, Francisco.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Carter, as we see now Leandro Maciel being replaced by Diego Vázquez and Facundo Castelli checking in for Gonzalo Torres.
So changes number 3 and 4 made by Leonardo Madelon.
Thanks to our production crew led by Adriano Capobianco, we can confirm that Fernando Gago, as per now, will stay as Racing Club's coach. But we must understand that his position has been under serious threat already tonight, Carter.
Well, already 3 managers on their way out after match day 15, very nearly a 4th. That's 11 changes already to the coaches of the 28 teams in the league. Taken short into Besosi. He's around his defender. Besosi back into the area. Oh, it's skied. Jordan. And somehow this game is not 1-1.
Higher than what the other Jordan can reach. The famous one. Incredible. Central Córdoba is putting loads of pressure, but now it's taking so long. Look at Besosi running away from the marking of Melano, who's now forced to give a helping hand in defense as a right midfielder.
Goalkeeper down for the visitors. The crowd sounding skeptical, and I think Sebastian Mesa here is just trying to give his team some time to catch their breath. I think the crowd know how important this match is, and I think the teams realize as well, especially as this is the last game of match day 15. And when you look at the relegation picture, so many teams in and around Central Córdoba and Sarmiento dropping points. Unión picked up a draw. Other than that, losses by Instituto, Banfield, Atlético Tucumán, Platense, Arsenal. Everything has gone the way of these 2 teams heading into tonight over the course of the weekend. What it looks like now is a massive green weekend for the Sarmiento of Junin. won by Castelli in an advantageous position. Oh, Castelli ignored the overlap. Tried to turn creator himself. Castelli. His cross cut out by Chaco Insaurralde. Benitez. And there's space for Besosi. Besosi was looking for Gonzalo Goñi. Another corner for Central Córdoba. About halfway through those extra 4 added on at the end of 7. Deep into the night in Santiago del Estero. Besosi into the area. Goalkeeper once again a little unsure whether to come off his line. Another corner, this time from the near side. Flicked on at the near post. It'll fall to Besosi. Time to survey. He's through a challenge. Besosi! And it rattles the bar. Off the post. And then possession given away. And deep into stoppage time, Central Córdoba inches away from an equalizer.
This is a very lucky escape by Sarmiento. There is Bettini, who looked injured. Header by Jordan, who already wasted one. Besosi. And after the rebounding Castelli, the ball hits the post.
Besosi has created a plethora of chances since coming on at the break once again. And here he is. Nobody can stop Besosi at the moment. Perhaps except himself. Couldn't quite pick out the run down the far side. As look at the skill through the legs of Mendes.
You must be really, really brave to do this in a 100th minute. Looking for an equalizer.
And it was just at an awkward height for Castelli. It careened off the Central Córdoba striker, off the post, and stayed out. And that means it's a hard-fought and valuable 3 points for Sarmiento on the road tonight. The relegation picture grows muddier as they draw Central Córdoba back a bit further into the fight. Luciano Gondo, his 6th goal of the season just before halftime. Enough for the Verde to get these valuable points away from home. It ends Central Córdoba 0, Sarmiento 1. Francisco Aure, what a win for the visitors from Junin.
A very long time, very common phrase says 6-point game or 3 golden points for Sarmiento. They are not only pulling away from Platense, but now in the average table they move on top of Instituto to 25th place, and that means much more than a single position, as now they are 2 points behind Central Córdoba, 3 points behind Banfield, Atlético Tucumán and Unión. It's a crucial step for Sarmiento in their battle to avoid relegation. Central Córdoba is still out of it, but they cannot relax at all. Sarmiento jumps to 13th place on 19 points, and now 3 points away from the CONMEBOL Sudamericana.
Tonight, Damonte marked his 100th game as a manager. He marks it with a win. Luciano Gondo, the difference maker. 1-0 to Sarmiento.
Thanks a lot, Carter. It was Carter Agustin in the play-by-play commentary. We'll move to the highlights shortly. Sarmiento in a crucial victory Next round, Sarmiento will visit Unión as they play 2 away games in a row on Monday, May 15th, 8:30 p.m., exactly in 1 week. Central Córdoba will travel to Buenos Aires to visit Barracas Central on that same Monday. Let's move to the highlights of the game.